France is vowing to destroy the Islamic State group. It's boosting defense spending and calling on European neighbors to contribute. But the question is, can they afford it? Owen Fairclough has this.
French fighter jets bombard Islamic State territory within 2 days of the jihadist group's attack on Paris.
We are at war, a war against terrorists who themselves brought war to us.
France is breaching budget rules to spend an extra $640 million this year, taking this fight to Islamic State. Neighbouring countries are also being leaned on, France invoking for the first time in European Union history a mutual defence assistance clause. But these debt-ridden countries are supposed to be cutting back to avoid a repeat of the financial crisis that bankrupted Greece. Given the extraordinary circumstances, the EU is cutting France some slack.
We have, of course, drawn our assessment of a budgetary plan submitted by France last month. So obviously costs mentioned by the Prime Minister yesterday and today are not included. It goes without saying that we will reassess any impact on the budget when the time is right.
Another major power that spent heavily on a war on terror is the US, first in Iraq, then Afghanistan. Deficits rose so high, they contributed to a government shutdown in a row over spending limits. The US government estimates it spent around $1.5 trillion on the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. And by some estimates, it'll spend around 5 times that amount in interest payments over the next 40 years or so. Some analysts think France should reconsider its actions.
We have to be careful with just waging wars overseas. The US invasion of Iraq has shown this is very dangerous. I think it's probably better to invest those funds, given that we're talking about homegrown terrorism, in security services and infiltration of the radical Salafi networks at home.
And yet the big winners in all this extra military spending are defence contractors, with the exception of French manufacturer Dassault, whose Rafale jets are pounding Islamic State. Their stocks are surging. Owen Fairclough, CCTV, Washington.